Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shirtless Plantain Show, the Arsenal edition. This is your host, Dean, and I am here with Coach. What's going on, Coach?
Oh man, it's good to support Arsenal sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, yes. Not all the time, but sometimes,
Yeah, it's all right. It's not a bad gig.
Which begs the question, Coach. What is it with Arsenal in April? What is it about that month in our club history? It feels like we always have a rough April.
My cat has an opinion on it, but he needs to mind his business first and foremost. So there's that.
Yeah,
Um,
meow, nigga. Meow, meow, meow.
I think there's things in football that you can't explain away other than the fact it's just football. Every team or club has their thing or something. Do you know what I mean? Like Liverpool and Everton. Liverpool, it's written in their contracts to just whoop Everton, no matter the state of the clubs, basically and shit. And for Arsenal, it's April just essentially. The only time Arsenal don't have a bad April is if we're out of out of everything. That's the only time Arsenal won't have a bad April. When the pressure's off and there's nothing to play for, then our April is nice and calm.
Yeah,
But when there's shit to play for, then yeah, that's when it gets a bit sticky. So
yeah. Real. And last month was
yeah.
quite sticky, But we thank goodness we can leave that in the past
Mm-hmm.
because Arsenal swept Fulham away at home with a wonderful performance in a 3-0 victory. And per usual, we'll start with the lineup, which gives us plenty to talk about, Coach. So
Mm-hmm.
we had Ryan goal per usual,
Yeah.
Ben White. We'll talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori. First time in a while. I haven't seen him for feels like 6 weeks or something. Don't know
I
what
think I
happened.
think Everton. So it's probably about 6 weeks.
Shame.
Yeah.
Which was the last time any of us were really, truly happy, if we're being honest. But
Yeah.
I'll start over here. Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Declan Rice in the six. We're going to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Miles Lewis Skelly in midfield. Finally.
Mm-hmm.
Finally. We'll talk about that too. Eberechi Eze, Bukayo Saka back and looking healthy. Whew. DeAndre Trossard also back and looking healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And Big Vic Gyökeres. What stood out to you in that lineup, Coach?
Yeah, I think probably Ben White. Let's cut this shit. It's MLS in midfield, bro. Like, yeah, I think there's a lot to love about the selection, and there's a lot um to pontificate over, if that's a word, because there's man. We talk about the technical level of the team raising. First and foremost, that is an incredible midfield, incredibly physical midfield. And I know people don't want to look at it that way. Rice and Lewis Skelly is as physical as you're going to get in the Premier League from just a pure power point of view. How many midfield can you say are as powerful as that physically? It's hard, like to compete with that midfield physically. You're going to have to go a long way. So that was my first thought.
Probably Newcastle, and that's it.
This maybe exactly just Newcastle. Newcastle, maybe Sunderland. But genuinely speaking, it's very hard to think about those two profiles in there and just think, God damn, we're in for it. We're in for a tough time today, physically for sure. Um, yeah, that was a real start. Everything else that this is the nucleus of it all. Like from a subject standpoint, but also in the actual team as well. This midfield physically is the nucleus of everything else that we was able to do. Yeah, that was my first sort of initial thought.
What did you make of the Ben White selection? Not because we don't like him or that he doesn't have quality, but he did have a bit of a difficult night midweek away at Atletico. Didn't really cost us, I would say. I'm not really holding that penalty against him. European penalties are what they are. So
Mm,
it's whatever. But there are some moments that are a little, as we've said earlier, sticky.
mhm.
So what would you make of him starting? I kind of thought that Mosquera might come in to give Ben a rest for the second leg of that tie.
I think there's two things here. While he might not be physically the same anymore, he clearly can manage 2 or 3 games a week because we have been doing it. If he couldn't, we wouldn't be doing it. So I'm okay with it because I think at home, Ben White, when the conditions are fine, are good, he's still arguably our best attacking fullback, at least our best attacking right fullback. So regardless of the opposition, if we want to go for it, then Ben White being in the team, I'm okay with. But I can't be pretend as if I don't see him flagging, but once his physicality goes, everything else I feel kind of goes with it. So yeah,
I think, you know,
or not
and
even
you know,
physicality, athleticism. That's what I'm looking for.
yeah, well, I think that kind of applies to even when players aren't really renowned for their athleticism
Mm.
or physicality. I think that applies to everybody. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
everyone plays worse when they're tired
mm.
because they don't have the same physical output. They don't get there that second faster, you know, and it just feels as if, you know, and it's natural. One, Ben White is 28 already, you know,
Mm.
like he's been at the club since basically the beginning of this Arteta era. You know, he was one of the first buys, one of the first buys of the rebuild,
Mm.
and he ran him into the ground. We all
Mm.
know that, you know. So he's definitely lost a step, but he's still a very quality player. That's for
Mm.
sure. And I will never be sad to see him in the lineup. I'll put it
No,
that way. Uh, I do want to say before we get into the actual details of the game we watched, Fulham were missing Alex Iwobi. Happy birthday to him! It's his birthday today. Ex Arsenal, forever Arsenal. Big
mm.
4-5. Sander Berger and Kevin, an alleged Brazilian. How
Mm.
can you be Brazilian and be named Kevin? That's ridiculous. Anyway, apparently there's some sort of virus in their squad. They got
Mm.
ravaged. Whatever. Anything to make Marco Silva's life harder, I'm okay with. That's okay
Yeah.
with me because he's such a scumbag. You know? A 4-3-3 scumbag. Yeah. So. Oh man, we started the game fantastically well, Coach. If Gabby was here, even she would have to give it up because my
Mm.
first memory of the game was Trossard shooting wide after some really aggressive physical play from MLS.
Mm.
I found Trossard on the left. In the moment, I thought to myself, just shoot it. I don't care where it goes. He shot it. It went wide. I was happy with it.
Mm.
Shortly afterwards, Ben White, who we just talked about, lost his first battle with Samuel Chukwueze, which
Mm.
kind of made me panic a bit. I was like, you know, but that was pretty much it. That was the last error he made. Maybe a misplaced pass or two, but that's normal in the game. And right to it, the ninth minute, just like last week against Newcastle, Arsenal scored a goal.
Yeah.
Victor Gyökeres with a tap in after some great work on the right wing from Saka. He cut back on his right foot instead of his left foot,
Mm.
left Jimenez on his ass, drew the low cross in. Victor anticipates it well, moves well, throws Anderson aside, gets there, taps it in 1-0 to the Arsenal. Coach, is this evidence that we might finally be seeing something resembling chemistry among our attackers with 3 games left in the season?
Yeah, and also just something that has been evident since we made the signing in an ideal world, which is you get a 1v1 specialist isolated and you get a striker that does his best work between the width of the goal. And this is the sort of thing you should expect, if not every week, every other week, one of these types of goals, whether it's coming from the right or whether it's coming from the left. Yeah. We're going to speak about Saka a lot today, but I think I want to start off, I suppose, the sermon with because that's what it is. Because yesterday was a celebration. Let's be honest, it was. But I suppose I want to start this off with there is no world where Saka is at his physical, where he's feeling physically good, where he's not cooking somebody. It doesn't matter doesn't matter if you put 2 players on there. How many times I've said in this pod when I looked, I think, oh, they're doubling up on Saka. I'm like, they're probably going to need at least one more if they want to get anything. That's what. But you leave him 1v1 with someone. What are we
And
doing? What are we doing here?
someone was a striker, Coach, not
Yeah,
even a defender, a
this
striker.
is what I'm saying. You are asking for trouble. You are literally asking for trouble here. And yeah, the goal for me, the goal was satisfying for the simple fact that cross with his right foot. We know Saka's got a great weak foot, but there's so much quality on it. So much quality on it. It's a dream. Like Gyökeres really should be donated half his wages to Saka this week. Actually, no, he already gave him a goal, so maybe that's fine. But it's one of those crosses where you've got no choice but to put it in the back of the net. There's so much it's night and day. It's night and day between some of the other options we have. Not that I'm shitting on them. I'm just giving you guys sort of the levels to this shit. Basically, that this is what it looks like when you have Saka, and then there's everybody else. And maybe this is league wide as well. Seriously, like how many other wingers in the league can do what Saka? Like Saka's known for that. That's Saka's bag right there. And yeah, it's standard for him. It's standard for him. I'll face my man up. I can go either side of him, and I'll put in a really dangerous cross. You know, it's simple football, but how many wingers, and we know this, can do this? How many wingers can do this regularly?
Yeah, I
So,
thought it was interesting that when Mikel was in his press conference
mm,
afterwards discussing Saka's health,
mm,
I can't remember the exact phrasing he used, but he was very specific. He didn't say, oh, he was injured or he wasn't fit. He said he had, with the Achilles issue they mentioned, he had an issue that was preventing him from doing certain actions. So it's like he was healthy, but not really, because if I'm being honest, I feel as if I haven't seen the version of Saka we saw yesterday since before the hamstring. So even when he was around earlier this season and having the good, like away at Sunderland, for instance, where he scored that nice goal, I never quite felt like he was putting together 90 minutes.
Fulham away is the only other time I can really recall. Fulham away, ironically, was probably just as good as today, but there was no goal or assist. He won a pen. He created.
Did Trossard score the winner there?
Yeah, exactly. It was a Saka cross from a corner there, but he won a pen. He created 2 legal chances for Gyökeres, and he was cooking his left back. But there was no real goal or assist to go with it. But yeah, that game there, he looked springy as well. But you're right. It's been few and far between where he's looked this physically dominant.
Fair. As far as Gyökeres, I want to say, obviously I haven't been on the pod as regularly this season, but I want to say I've been one of the more supportive observers, if you will. But I'm not blind. I can see where because I feel like we haven't necessarily played to his strengths at times. Even if it's like, oh, we play against deep blocks a lot. It's like that can't be the only reason why we're not feeding this guy a little bit more. With that ball striking, we should be getting him. We should never go through a game with Victor Gyökeres where we don't have at least a shot on goal per half. At least, and there should be way more than that. But you can't build the team around him. I accept that. That said, Coach, the way he anticipated where Saka was going to put that cross, like even on the first, on a strong foot before he cut back on Jimenez, he was positioned to make the right anticipatory move across the defender. The ball didn't come in. He backs off. Then when Saka goes to cross on his weak foot, you can see the way he sheds Anderson. He knows where the ball is going to be. He starts making the move before Saka even crosses the ball. He's there to tap in.
Yeah.
Why haven't you seen that more often? Like, it doesn't seem like a very difficult thing for a striker to incorporate into their game.
It's really simple. We spoke about it already. It's the service. It's generally the service. Strikers aren't stupid, and the same way good midfielders aren't stupid. You look at Gyökeres' best performances, or just across the league, any sort of striker that has a partnership with their other attackers. There's certain moves you make and certain passes you play or crosses you do when you've got certain players, you're giving it to certain players. It's the same way there's no point of giving the ball into feet. Most weeks, there's no point of giving the ball into feet to Victor Gyökeres. There's no point. If you play the ball out in front of Victor Gyökeres, you've made the decision for him. He's either going to run onto it to finish or he's going to be a first-time finish for him. So we go back to the Nottingham Forest game, where Ezra is running onto a long ball from Calafioried and Gyökeres has already made the run. All Eze has to do is feed it across the goal, which is what he does, bread and butter. Both of those goals, you look at Victor Gyökeres' celebration, both of those goals, he's pointing at Ezra, he's pointing at Saka, and he's so happy because he's like, this is me, this is what I want, this is how you get the best out of me. Like, there's a genuine, there's a joy and there's an understanding there. It's like, if you guys give me this a few times a game, I'm scoring at least one of these, basically. And there's just what's disappointing me more than anything is that we just haven't been able to, not through the fault of anybody really, create more of those chances. Where it's just, you've got, whether it's Ezra or Saka, genuine 1v1 specialists, cooking their men and putting a ball across the 6-yard box, and Gyökeres knowing where to be. It's not even that they've trained it over and over again. It's instinctual. He's a striker. He knows, if you put the ball there, let me worry about getting there. Just put the ball there. I'll worry about throwing my defender or whatever else, or making the double movement. And that's all it is, really and truly. So, yeah, it's just knowing your audience, who's giving me the pass, who am I passing it to, more than anything.
Yeah, there was a clip circulating on Twitter before the game where it was a clip of Gyökeres and Saka talking to each other.
Okay.
And it was almost as if they were kind of explaining, like Gyökeres was explaining Saka, like here's what I'm gonna need today, type shit, and Saka gave him the nod, like I got you, and it was lovely to see it come to fruition in the game. In addition, I want to say, I'm not gonna say this was his best general game. I love the brace, obviously. I think he's played some better games, even if he didn't look as smooth. Like, I love Newcastle away, I love Burnley away. I think even Atletico midweek was pretty good as well. But I think we also seem to make a change in the way we, because a big frustrating feature this season has been playing those long balls when we're getting pressed.
Yeah.
And either a defender or usually David Raya plays the ball long, but we kind of play it straight on. And that's not his strength. The most he's going to do is get his body in the way and kind of
Try and win a
bounce.
foul.
Yeah, or try to get the foul, which refs don't seem to like him in England. In Europe, he does get the fouls. What I don't know, I could be over-indexing this because, the result was great and the performance was even better. But I felt like those balls were coming at more of an angle. So he was making the channel run to try to bring down the long ball. Did you observe the same, or am I making this up?
No, probably gonna skip a bit ahead of it, but for the Saka goal, just the ball that Eza gave him,
Right.
like that is the sort of ball that, and he's done it a couple of times as well. To be fair, because even looking at the chance he created for Odegaard in midweek as well, he's running onto it. There's enough space between him and the touchline where he's not going to get forced there. He kind of maneuver it himself so that he can actually face up the defender or face up towards goal. And that's only coming if the ball's coming at an angle. So I think you're right in that regard. But I personally am not a huge fan of him chasing down those balls because I feel like it's low percentage. Like it's not a guaranteed thing. I prefer it as if the ball's going to be played that way, as if he's running directly towards goal, not running, having to essentially make the decision. Even though he did really well yesterday, he did really well in midweek. I'm more of the opinion that if we're going to go long to Victor, always make it in behind, make it a fight between him and the defender for him to essentially get the shot on goal, but rather than him having to do everything else. And maybe he's developing that part of his game. I don't know, but as it stands right now, I'm still a big fan of him. Just it being a route one, go towards goal rather than the link up stuff. But it's been work. It's worked in this week at least. So yeah.
Yeah, I was pleased to see it. Yeah, it's funny how much better a team can look when their best player comes back. So that was great because we haven't seen Arsenal hasn't looked this good this year. Basically, like that first half was incredible. Right after we finish recording this, I'm going to go watch it again because it was that good. That said, we continue to exert control throughout the half. In the 23rd minute, Lukic got booked for a dumb foul on Eze. On a different day, he probably gets sent off, not because he was necessarily bad or anything, but because literally every Arsenal midfielder took their turn making fun of him on the pitch, like just running him in circles. And he got the yellow card for the foul on Eze. In the 27th, Leno couldn't reach a nice angled cross from Saka. The loose ball dropped to Gyökeres, but Leno made a nice save. Fucking hater. Then Saka put the rebound narrowly wide. And at that point in the 27th minute is when I decided, you know what? This is our best performance of this year so far. I've said that twice now. Do you agree?
Just for sheer difficulty of the match, I still think City away is the best we've looked. It's just the result. Obviously, is going to make people forget about it in time. I personally won't, because I'm still holding on to that 2022 performance in January against City as well, where we gave them the business, but then we got fucked with the referee because it should have been a foul on Odegaard, sort of thing. So these sort of things live long in the memory for me. So this is a great performance. And outside of City, this and Everton are right up there, like with our best performances of 2026 for sure. There was a level of authority and seriousness, despite there being obvious joy in their play, that this is we're a serious team. That like where if this team could be a metaphor for one of our players, this was a Jury and Timber game. Like with the level of seriousness we took it, it was as if Jury and Timber was coaching the team basically.
I've said this before on the pod. I feel like Julian might be Arteta's best player, not best player, favorite player on the low. Like, he won't say it out loud, but I feel like they have like this theme between
They
them.
understand
Like,
each other.
my boy, like I fucks with you, boy. Like I fucks with you, boss. Anyway, more domination from Arsenal in the 30th minute. Lovely cross from Trossard from the right side of the box. So that goes to show the fluidity that was going on the other day. And he clips a cross in. Calafioried nods it in beautifully for what we thought was 2-0. Great knee slide to follow as well. But he was offside. Such a good knee slide, but it was wasted because he was slightly offside. But this is an excellent opportunity for us to talk about Calafiori. I think it's no accident. If you took the 10 best Or let me not even say best. That's maybe the wrong descriptor. The 10 most aesthetically pleasing performances from Arsenal this season. I think all of them may have involved Calafiori starting in those games.
Yeah, I don't think you'd be wrong. Like, there's a funny thing in football which is called. I'm just being assaulted by my cat. Apologies, guys. Sorry. Um, there's a funny thing in football called having your best players and playing well. There's a concept there. Um, and you can be hamstrung sometimes when the rotational pieces become a bit more important, like that meme, like, oh shit, I've accidentally become more important at work than I anticipated. One of those things. And this is not to disrespect any of our players. I love all our players, but you can see why players earn certain amounts of money and why certain players are given certain responsibilities. It's plain to see, and there's no secrets there. There's nothing to overanalyze there. Calafiori is straight up a unicorn, and he gives Arsenal so many options. And it's not gonna please a lot of people because, like, why would you have that sort of player, you know, in your left back position? Like, why can't you have that sort of inspiration in the forward positions? Like, yeah, well, if you get our first 11 there, you will find lots of those players in those positions as well. It just happens that you have a left back there who is phenomenal at everything. I don't know what California, like, what can't he do on anything? Like, that's the question you have to ask.
He can't chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
can't do it. He won't do it. Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, like he is special. I think honestly, a player that good, it kind of makes sense why he's so fragile. Because
God had to
Michael
humble
Jordan
him
was
somewhere,
bald.
innit?
You can't have it all in life.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan bald, LeBron bald, but he got everything else.
Yeah.
Calafiori is amazing at football, but he gets injured often. And I'm okay having him around. Whenever we can use him, just wheel him out.
Yeah.
And the contrast to him in Hincapié, and again, the praise for Calafiori is not a criticism
No,
of the other
not
player.
at all. I love Hincapié.
Please, Arsenal fans, please learn to love one of your players without hating on another player. Please, one day you get there.
Or maybe
keep trying.
try this. Try loving yourself if you can do that. If you can.
That's too much. That's too much. Stop there. It's easier to love strangers than to love myself. Sorry, can't do that.
Fair enough.
In any event, lovely goal. Again, when people are complaining about certain lack of activity in the transfer market, I've long felt, at least since Calafiori showed up, and knowing what he could do from watching him at his prior clubs, I always felt as if Mikel, a guy that doesn't necessarily want to rely on one player to get all the goals. Like, I felt like our way of improving our attack was by improving our fullback positions.
Yeah.
And when those guys aren't available, we don't look as fluid. We don't score as many goals. He's back. Saka is back. Your best players are back. As coach says, you start playing well again. Calvin Bassey, an Arsenal fan and Nigerian like us, blocked an Eze shot after some lovely combination work between Rice and Saka on the right. That was incredible. Great through ball from Rice there. Like, I was so proud of him in that moment. I was like, man, you grown up, man. I love this shit, man. We'll talk about him in a little more detail. Let's see what else. Yeah. Skipping straight to the 40th minute, 2-0 to the Arsenal. Fulham had a relatively decent 10 minutes before that. Decent. I don't recall Raya making saves, but it was decent. Eze played the lovely pass that coach talked about a little earlier into the right channel. It pushed Fulham all the way back. Anthony Robinson was scanning. He kept scanning. He kept looking at Saka. He kept looking. He was like, I'm not going to let this man run off me. The second he took his eye away, Saka ran off him. Gyökeres with a lovely pass into Saka. I don't think I've seen that specific finish from Saka before. Not that I thought he couldn't do it. I just haven't seen that one before.
No.
But 2-0 to the Arsenal coach.
Yeah, that finish. I'll be honest with you. So, guys, I had a really difficult situation yesterday in terms of watching Arsenal. I was all over the country, literally all over the country. So my reception for watching, like, on Sky Go was just going in and out while I was on the train and shit. So as the goal's gone in, I've seen the build up. As the goal's gone in, like, my reception's gone funny, so it's gone all fuzzy. So I can't tell, and I'm watching it on mute as well. I can't tell that it's actually gone in until I see the zoom in of Saka running away. I just seen him as he's striking the ball. It's just gone all fuzzy. And then my missus goes, "Did it go in?" I'm like, "I'd have to wait." I'm like, "Yeah, it did," kind of thing. But I thought it got deflected, and it wasn't until the replay I was like, "What is that? What is that?" There's a very specific Messi goal that he scored where he's actually gone near post. I think it was Real Madrid. I want to say it was Real Madrid.
No, I think
Maybe it was Levante.
I want to say it was Atleti.
Maybe
No, Athletic Bilbao. I want to say it was.
maybe, but he's got
There was a run ahead of it, right?
yeah, yeah. And I'm just strictly talking about the finish. Yeah, he had every right to aim wherever he wanted to go, but optimally the near post was not. Well, it was because it went in, but really and truly, they always tell you aim for like where the space is, where the far post is, whatever else. That's a finish of somebody that knows how good they are, that is reminding the world of just exactly who they are, and really of someone that I think is probably still underrated. Like, believe it or not, I actually think Saka is quite underrated still.
Listen, the finish was arrogant.
It was
Okay,
it was arrogant. It
he
was.
didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
He knows Bern Leno. They're friends.
Yeah.
They used to be coworkers.
Yeah.
That's fucked up, But I will say, I think he may have chosen that specific finish because Calvin Bassey actually did a pretty clever thing because he was closing
The
the
angle.
gap. And he went to block that far post finish.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying he would have got there, but that's what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
So it's like I just decided, you know what? Let's just eliminate any sort of debate here and
Yeah.
put it near post. And I don't think we can blame Neno for not getting there, can we? It
No,
was
it's
a
given
call hit.
because in football, as you know, you can give goalkeepers the eyes. That's also one way of finishing as well. So that's obvious. Like, and you've watched Saka enough times to know that yeah, he loves that far post with his left, but he also loves the near post with his right hand, with his right foot. So yeah, I really want to, guys. I don't think you understand that. That's the sort of finish of some of. You look at the best players in the world. Yeah? You look at your Mbappes, your Elises, and anyone else that's French that's spawned in the last 5 years. I don't know. They all seem to be the best player in the world at some point. But anyway, the point I'm making is that's a finish that belongs with those players. Guys, I'm literally telling you, Saka is on that level of those players. It's just unfortunate that the injuries have really, really like spoiled the season for him personally because he should have been more involved. We go back to what he was
Two
playing like.
seasons, really.
Yeah,
2 seasons
really
have
2 seasons.
spoiled by injury,
Yeah,
technically.
you go back to what he was playing like before Crystal Palace away. He was on course to break the assist record, guys. Like, it was probably going to happen if we're being honest. But yeah, he's reminded us like, okay, let's go back to the Real Madrid game. Both legs, but the first leg, he was fresh from his surgery. He just played against Fulham, scored the winner against Fulham, and he played out of his mind those 2 legs, fresh from injury, by the way. So this is no surprise to me that after he's eliminated all the pain, as they say, he's come back and he's doing shit like this, scoring goals like that. Like that, it's just the highest quality stuff you can hope for. Seriously, man.
We love it. We love it so much, man. Yeah, I'm just really excited to see him for the rest of the season. I feel like he's going to pull what I call a Dembele from last season. Dembele won the Ballon d'Or for playing 3 good months. Okay.
Basically, yeah.
While everybody else who was competing against played 9 months, but that's for another time. But yeah, Saka's going to come back, close out this season, and we're going to win everything. That's how the fuck I feel. But let's keep going. In the 44th minute, the defense got in on the act. There was some good work on the right side. I think Saka was involved yet again. Actually, I think it was in that moment that I decided, you know what? I think this man is fully fit again. Because I wasn't sure based on what I'd seen prior to that. But I think the sort of inciting moment was a crossfield pass to him that was pretty high. And he goes to trap it with the defender literally in his pants. Like the defender is right there. He traps it. He controls it. He holds him off. Calafioried makes a run. I don't know why the fuck he was there, but I was happy he was there. He makes a run. Saka plays it into him. On the cutback, I think Saliba curls it to the far post. Gabriel almost gets there, doesn't get there, but that was maybe the best move of the game that didn't come off, to be honest with you. But your defenders, man, like see how it is when everyone is there, everyone gets into it. I feel like
Yeah.
it was lovely. It was.
I think every single one of our players, yeah, all have great attacking instincts. Like they do. They just have to cross a certain threshold on the pitch for them to kick in.
For it to
Like
kick in.
seriously, like there's a switch that goes. Like Saliba, the moment. Well, Saliba's all over the pitch, really. But for example, Gabriel, the moment like the ball, he's within 30 yards of the goal, you see some of the line breakers that he can play, like to create goals, sort of thing. We already know what he's like in the box in general. So yeah, and then Calafiori again, it's whatever. Like Jurien Timber has stolen many a goal or many a chance from how many like all of our defenders all have great attacking instincts. Basically, they just happen to be some of the best in the world at defending as well. So
Um, I do want to take a second to insist that you give Saliba a little more praise, if that makes any sense. Not because you don't give him enough praise, but
yeah,
I feel as if somehow, like his excellence has been so consistent for so long that we just kind of take it for granted.
it reminds me of a certain
He's a really
somebody
good
as well.
player. It reminds you of who?
It reminds me of a certain somebody as well that's actually also affiliated with Arsenal as well, but he's not the most popular figure. So yeah, well, he is in my house and in your house, just not for some people. So,
What are we
but
talking about?
we'll get onto my promise. But Saliba, right? Let's just talk about Saliba for now. Yeah, it's what I want to call the Messi and CR7 post Messi and CR7 world, basically, where you end up taking ridiculous shit for granted. Now, I'm not guilty of this. Maybe I've been in past, but for the most part, I don't think I am, because I think it's really easy to recognize when something is just really ridiculous, because you watch a lot of football and you see shit that isn't ridiculous. So the shit that is, for me, always sticks out. And I've seen a host of defenders every weekend, and none of these guys are doing what Saliba's doing. We're all defenders, but you're not Saliba. Do you know what I mean? There is there's a funny thing that happens in the stadium, yeah, where Saliba's left 1v1 with their striker, the ball gets played in the channel, and there's zero tension in the stadium. Zero tension. Why is that, guys? Why is that? Like, and then obviously, to me, there's a similar thing with Gabriel as well, but the reason why I'm talking about Saliba specifically is because there's a violence into what he does. There's an elegant violence to what he does to the attacker when it's a 1v1 duel. You have no chance with him, and they know it. Their coach knows it. Do you know what I mean? The crowd knows it, kind of thing. So in my head, I'm already looking up to see Saliba's options for him. So I think, what's he going to do when he actually regains the ball? Because you just know.
It's not if, when.
It's when. It's like it's literally like the Jaws music. It's genuinely the Jaws music. Like, so, and that's just one aspect of his defending. But the other thing is technically what he gives us with the ball. There's a moment, I want to say it's not in the Forest game. He didn't play that game, but we deferred to Mosquera. Mosquera was our primary distributor from the back. Saliba was always going to be our primary distributor, and that's another part of the game that we really take for granted. So much of our good work and good attacks comes from Saliba being brave on the ball, but also baiting the press as well and just blowing past his man, almost like a winger, if you like. The way a winger will stop his man, then start it and just go past him. Saliba's so good at it because he gets his body between man and ball, and while he's doing that, he's looking up for his options. He's like, okay, there it is. Now I'm going to go. And it's such an underrated part of his game. So much of our good attacks and the way we sustain pressure comes from him just making that decision and just being and just controlling, literally controlling our build up, essentially.
Fantastic player. Fantastic
Yeah.
player. Like, hey man. Oh wow, there was another goal. I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
It's unusual, man. We don't have podcasts like this where we talk about 3 goals in the first half. It's crazy. 3rd minute of added time. I believe this may have started from a Fulham set piece on the other side of the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
We break on them. Trossard runs and runs and runs like a little hobbit in Lord of the Rings and keeps running, and he sees Castagna in front of him and he's like, oh, I'd be whooping your ass in training at Belgium all the time. Just runs past motherfucker, chips it into the box. Victor Gyökeres with a quite subtle and excellent header, I gotta say. He scored a header or two already, but one of the things we talked about quite a bit during the signing process was he's not that good in the air, and during build-up play, he's not that good in the air either. But that was an expert marksman header, wasn't it, Coach?
Yeah, it was. It's the sort of goal you score when you're feeling it, when you're confident, where everything is going right for you, basically. And this is the thing about trying to get players into hot streaks. You have to keep creating. When you're feeling it, like when you play, kind of thing, regardless of what position you're in, kind of thing, if you're feeling it, your passing is going to be more crisper. You're going to be more alert to any sort of danger. You're going to be playing with your head up a lot more because your feet. You don't need to look at where the ball is. You're just confident. You just know, and that's kind of thing. If you're creating for a striker like Gyökeres, he's already got a goal. He's already got an assist. Keep giving him the ball in the penalty area. Good things will happen. There was no, and what the most impressive thing about it was that Leo didn't really hesitate. He didn't check back or anything like that. He just kind of kept going because he's feeling it himself as well. So there's synergy there.
Yeah, I also suspect that he knew that this was the last play of the half.
Yeah,
If he had checked back, the ref might have gone
yeah.
because
There's that as well.
those guys are dickheads. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was a lovely finish. At that point, well, you watch the game all funky like and whatnot. But were you beginning to think of the goal difference thing at that point? Like, oh,
Yeah, do you know a funny story of how I found out we even scored? So as I'm watching it, I have to call my sister to say, okay, yeah, we're pulling up now, basically. And then obviously because I have to call the stream stops, but I can hear the crowd in the car with my brother-in-law because he's driving, obviously, but he's got the game on, so I can hear the crowd going nuts. So I'm talking to her, but I'm like, we scored in it, kind of thing. And then my brother looking at him, he's like, yeah, we did. So I know it's 3-0. So literally 5 minutes later, I watch it back, kind of thing. But yeah, I'm definitely thinking, yeah, at that point, game set a match. Like it's also on top of that as well. I'm thinking, what else can we do to essentially preserve for Atleti, but also still try and go for the game as well. But automatically, I'm thinking, no, actually, maybe we should not get greedy, but just think about Atleti. Basically, we kind of have to at this point.
yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because after the Atleti performance, Simeone being the scumbag that he is, and
Yeah,
we love this scumbag, but being the scumbag, he was like, "Yeah, they're going for the league, they're going for the Champions League, they're tired." It's like, bro, we're not tired, bro. Not for you, we're
no,
not tired. Okay, we're coming for that ass.
yeah,
And in that spirit, actually, before I skip ahead, I do want to acknowledge the crowd at the Emirates
mm,
because the ovation they gave the team at halftime,
mm-hmm,
like it's been so long since we've seen something like that. It just
mm-hmm,
made me so happy to
mm-hmm,
see that connection between the crowd and the players because whenever we've had like wonky results, there's often been chatter about the crowd not really being supportive,
mm-hmm,
being too quiet when things get difficult, not really moving the team along. But ultimately, it kind of takes something from the team to get the crowd to really rise it, and I think that's fair. It's hard to ask people to cheer for something when there's nothing to cheer for. So 3 goals in the first half, that's something worth cheering for. And they definitely gave the players their props. And I appreciated that from home. To the point that I'm actually considering visiting that stadium again sometime soon. Because I swore that shit off
yeah,
out of anger,
yeah.
once upon a time. I just like watching games and watching the team, sort of struggle and the crowd kind of get nervous. Like, bro, I'm not looking forward to doing that again. Like, no, like,
Yeah.
So this cleansed the memories from me a little bit. I'm just talking about me specifically
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Like,
of course, of course. I've always long since said that I think, and this is gonna rub people the wrong way, I can for sure. But just take it from me, I don't like Arsenal fans, and I think fans in this, and I think out of the sort of group of fans that I kind of have the most time for. Again, I'm not saying people that don't go to games or can't go to games don't matter. But I'm saying from a personal standpoint, the ones that I have the most time for are the majority, not all, but the majority of match going fans. And the reason why I say that is they're responsive. Like when they're asked to essentially, like Arteta said, they bring a dinner kind of thing, they will respond kind of thing. Now, where my patient runs things with them is I feel like they give up too easily. When the team is going through a bad patch, that's when they actually need them the most. Now, this season has been a little bit of a change because I saw it against, for example, against Newcastle. We went 1-0 up pretty early, and the fans just carried on. Like we were singing for so long for we went through all the cycles of all the songs. Like we just kept on going and going, and there was loads of difficult moments in that game, kind of thing. But I want to see that on a week to week basis because it's hard. This shit is hard. We need to feed off each other. So when the players do give a performance like that, great that you responded and you're winning them along, kind of thing. But it's kind of easier to do that when it's not going so well. That's when you need to show like who you are. That's my one criticism of it. Like we need you. Like even if we do lose, don't matter. Keep going. It don't matter. It's painful and it's annoying, and you might have seen some players like pulling out of tackles and some players jogging and stuff like that. I get it, but that's the whole point of being a fan. There's a level of delusion, a level of grace you have to get once you've accepted to being a football fan. There's a level of grace and level of delusion that comes. You're not a stakeholder. You're a fan. That's it.
I love that you said once you've accepted being a fan,
Yeah,
because none of us have to do this.
exactly.
So why show up and not contribute? But that's me.
Yeah,
I'm just over here in America, donating my money to or War Department. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Fulham, okay, whoa, Madueke replaced Saka at the half.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree that was the right decision. Like even though he looked amazing, we
Yeah.
want to save him for the battles ahead.
Can we talk about Madueke, please? Can we just?
Sure, this is the time. Yes.
I love him. I love Noni Madueke. I do.
Do you love him enough to wear a headband while you podcast?
Do you know what I might consider? What do I have around here? I legit, next podcast, depending on how it goes, you might see me in a headband, guys. Like for real, I'm dead serious. But I love Madueke, and I love Madueke for one simple fact: the perception of him is this sort of quote unquote unserious, baggy shorts headband player who doesn't really fancy it, and and then you watch him play. And again, I'm very fortunate enough to go to the Emirates weekly. You watch him play and you watch what he is like off the ball, despite Bournemouth aside. You watch what he's like guys, you might not know this, he gets kicked just as much as Saka, believe it or not. He gets kicked just as much as Saka. And I'm not saying that he's better than Saka at dealing with it, because it is what it is. People deal with things in different ways. But Madueke will dust himself off, get up and go again. Despite the fact I know for a fact Madueke's been carrying an injury for a while. He's been carrying.
If you look at him, he has strap in his knee.
Yeah, he's been carrying an injury for a while, and the amount of times he's gone off in the last 2 months, he's gone off the pitch injured, and he's back the next game. You have to. He has my maximum respect, because a lot of players will just be like, and they might be right in saying, I don't want to make it any worse, kind of thing, and they're right in that, because you've seen how some players have played through it, aka Ben White and stuff like that, during Timber as well. But he has my respect because it's a very serious situation that he's in, despite him being called unserious and the perception of it's a very serious situation that he's in. We're going for the league and the Champions League, and he's there every week, making himself available. I'm not talking about performances. I'm just talking about the perception of him, and moreover, his attitude. Now, there's certain things on the pitch that I don't enjoy him doing. Again, running off the pitch, his decision making as well, and his final action as well. All things that should be better and he needs to improve upon. But yesterday, him coming on at half time is his entire USP, his value. Because what came off at half time is essentially what won us the game and allowed us to keep that absolute monster of a nuke fresh for our next biggest game. So that's Madueke right there. That's his value. And had Saka been fitter more this season, people would probably feel the way I feel about Madueke a lot more. They'd recognise and accept him for what he is. For now, unfortunately, he's going to sound a bit derogatory, but it's not. But for now, he is Saka's relief. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that he's been made to be more important than he needs to be at this particular time in his Arsenal career. But I can't lie to you. I love the player, and I really love his attitude. I really do. He gets it. He literally gets it as an Arsenal player in 2026. He does.
We learned this over the years, but it's now impossible to buy a qualified backup for certain players.
Yeah.
If Saka is healthy, his backup is never playing because he's that good. Like, what coach would play a lesser player when he has a better player that's healthy? So the fact that Mikel Arteta, a very strict man that just gave MLS his first midfield minutes for the first time in 71 games or 70 games, however many games that kid has played for the club, who we've seen Norgard with our eyes and we all think he's sufficient, not good enough for Arteta's midfield. He's not going to play an unserious motherfucker. Yes, Nani ain't perfect. He's made mistakes. But guess what? Saka made mistakes too. Every player makes mistakes, So I'm glad you took a minute to really praise him, because again, I kind of think of him a bit like I think of Gyökeres, that they're not what I want aesthetically or, from an output standpoint. But ultimately, these are footballers that have behaved, and excuse the expression here, I'm not trying to be toxic here, but they behaved like men. They showed up. And they keep showing up. And that's half the battle.
Exactly.
Being available, showing up, doing what the coach asked you to do. That is half the battle. The rest, is up to you. But Nani, for me, he's had a good season. The fact that he's been able to help keep us afloat while Saka has struggled with injury so badly. That's enough. That's enough. Raheem Sterling couldn't do that last year.
Do you know what I mean? Put it this shit. Had he been Had we not signed Madueke, for example, yeah, let's say we got our 7 signings, didn't get Madueke or anything, how much more unbalanced would our attack be right now without him? Like, we would have been... Saka might have come back 2 weeks ago rather than now. Because, do you know what I'm saying? All these things, they matter so much, but I just feel as if Arsenal fans take it for granted. They don't really appreciate anything, to be honest.
Hey,
But
listen,
they just take this shit for granted.
I think it's the nature of fandom. I think it's not just Arsenal fans. Like everything is the best until the motherfucker on the bench comes back and it's like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
like we've been waiting for him. Like then he plays for it, but then it's like, well, why don't we try that other guy?
Yeah.
It's just the nature of fandom. Like being a consistently happy fan is just too much hopium, too much delusion. But it's okay. It's okay. We love everybody. Fulham actually started the second half halfway decent. There was a shot from range by Jimenez that didn't really trouble Raya, even though he dived because it was funny to dive. Castagna had a nice header from a corner that got deflected out for another corner.
I think Calafioried saved us there, actually, I think.
Yeah, perhaps. I wasn't paying much attention to them because at this point we're up 3-0, so I'm just like, I want goals. So I'm like, they're not scoring on us. It's fine. I didn't even think they'd get a shot on goal, and I was almost right, but on we go. In the 56th minute, Trossard played a lovely through pass into Gyökeres. Leno came out, narrowed the angle, got something on the shot before it was cleared by defender. I feel like Vic should have scored there.
Oh, 100%.
He needs to take that on his left foot.
100%.
Okay, good. I ain't tripping because I was worried that I was being a little harsh with that because he kind of did the thing where he turned onto his strong foot, gave the goalkeeper time to actually narrow the angle. Then it gets deflected. Defender clears it. I think if he just takes any kind of shot on his left, I can live with that a little more easily than what he did. But it's okay. The hat trick is coming this season, inshallah. Yeah. It's coming this season. I'm telling you. I don't know when, I don't know where, but it's coming. Maybe Burnley at home. In any event,
I'll take it against West Ham. I'll tell you that now.
I'll take it anywhere, man. Anywhere, man. Like I had a vision, but I'm gonna keep that for off the pod. I had a vision about Gyökeres, but I'm gonna keep that off the pod for now. In the 65th minute, we made more subs. Gyökeres and Rice came off for Gabriel Jesus and Martin Zubimendi. And those are interesting things to discuss. But what I really want to talk about, you know what? Let me stop myself. We should discuss Declan Rice in the 6. Clearly, he's been playing in a double pivot all season, but he's had more license to get forward pretty much until about this week when we played him at the 6 against Atleti, and it looked fantastic, one of his better performances of the season. And we repeated the trick here today. Does this make sense as a way of deploying him? Like, not that as a 6, we know that that's his USP, that's what he does, but the idea that throughout the season we can let him sort of have fun and traipse around and do all this. But when it comes to crunch time, we just put him in the 6. And whatever you put in front of him doesn't matter because you have Declan Rice in the 6. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, yes and no.
Yes and no.
I'll tell you why, because, and maybe it's because I'm looking at it from a different perspective, but I don't believe that Declan Rice is just randomly just automatically start playing in the 6 in the last couple of games. Go on.
Sorry to interrupt you, Coach. When we started this podcast,
I know what you're going to say.
Beating Liverpool. Now it's 2-2. Why can't these people be serious? I love it. Carry on, Coach.
I just kept to myself. I was like, I'm going to feel dirty saying this, but I actually want Liverpool to win. Like, I do.
Yes, this will be fun.
I actually do want them to win. But yeah, I'll be real. I don't think there's been a more concerted effort for him to play as more of a quote unquote libero for sure, and to get the ball of centre backs more. But really and truly, the only real pronounced difference that I see more than anything is that in transitions, he's not as high up. He's already there to kind of stop the danger, but I still do think that we're still playing with a double pivot. But because of how much he covers ground and how good he is, yeah, it looks more pronounced because it's Declan Rice. Now, against Atleti, I do think there was probably more of a 6-ish sort of duties for him on the day, but generally speaking, I don't see a huge difference. And people are, some people I've spoken with are like, yeah, like Arteta's finally got it. Like he's realized he's got a world-class number 6 and he's putting him there. I'm just like, I don't know 100% agree with that. I don't like, I get it. I get the thinking because there's been an upturn in our performances and stuff like that. But if you look at the touch map, you look at the heat map, haven't looked at them, it's not going to be any different to what we've probably seen this season. It just looks more pronounced because
I want to say, Coach,
yeah,
if there's a difference that
yeah,
I haven't looked this up either,
yeah,
but I think when he plays a little more reserved, that's
yeah,
probably the best way to say it
yeah,
because he's not bolted to the six or anything like that. I
exactly.
mean, we saw Miles dipping in there, and we're
Yeah,
talking about him next.
yeah,
But I feel like what happens is that he actually pops up on the right side of the pitch a bit more, so he's a bit more
100%.
balanced
Yeah,
as opposed to just kind of being more of the left lane guy. I
yeah,
think that's what happens when he's more like when the coach is like, "Can I get you sitting a little bit more?"
yeah.
So that's really the difference to me. I think.
No, I think you're right, and I think there's actually, you even look at when he's played with Zubimendi in the last couple of weeks, like he's popping up more on the right, just in general as well. Some of our good play yesterday as well, like him combining with Saka and whoever else on the right, he's playing on the right. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's more pronounced that he looks deeper and doing more defensive work, but really it's just to me, I don't see a huge difference. Basically, there's been Atleti was probably the most noticeable, but even then, I'm just like I'm still seeing him get forward enough. I'm still seeing Zubimendi in deeper areas as well. Yeah, but go,
I
go
think
on.
just by virtue of the fact that and this isn't to criticize Rice, that's our guy.
Mhm.
By virtue of the fact that he's not this natural tempo setting, super press resistance six,
Yeah,
even though he's maybe the best six in the world
yeah,
when he plays at the six. By virtue of that fact, he's never going to just be bolted there as like a six.
nah,
He's going to rotate with the other midfielders. I mean, when Eze made that pass into Gyökeres that led to the second goal, one could argue that technically maybe Rice should have been there instead
yeah,
of Eze. Eze was there because Rice was somewhere else,
yeah.
not being the six, So, but I do quite enjoy the idea of, like, okay, when it's crunch time, we're going to put our policeman in front of the defense and you're not getting shit.
I love it. I love it. Especially, I'd want to see that. I'd want to kind of see that. Like, let's say, God willing, we get to Champions League final. Let's say we get a goal or two, right? Do you know how disheartening it would be for the opposition to see, Declan Rice has decided just to stay right there in front of the two best centre backs in the world. I just say, right, the shop's closed, guys. Do you know how disheartening it would be? Like, you're gonna have to work so hard just to even get that half yard. You're gonna have to work just to even get that, let alone everything else you're gonna need to do. Like there was an instance yesterday where he's done it so many times, but yesterday it was so funny because the pass was obvious. I knew where the pass was going. Rice knew where the pass was going. He stepped early to his right hand side to intercept it, and the player still played it there. It's almost like he was like, the player's like, do you know what? I'm too scared. Just have it. Deckers, just have it because I don't know what I'm going to do. You're already there, bro. Like there's a level of assurity and seriousness in his game that it just makes everyone around him just step up and just be better as well at what they do as well. Because they're like, well, Deckers has got this part of the game sorting up, so let me go and do what I'm good at as well, kind of thing, whatever it is. He's just top, man. I can't rate him high enough. I've compared him to Vieira already. I think that I can't get any higher than that. He does remind me of Vieira. He does. Not in play style, just in that level of feeling safe.
Influence, yeah.
Yeah.
Aura, as the kids say.
Yeah.
And onto his partner in the pivot yesterday, Miles Lewis Skelly. Now, to be fair to the manager, he tried to do this in some cup games.
Mm-hmm.
And late injuries, like literally right before the game was, I think in one case was Calafioried had to go off, so
Wigan,
Miles went back.
Yeah.
Then I think it happened one other time as well. I can't remember the other time, but I remember 2 times this season where he was on the team sheet as a midfielder.
Yeah.
Something happened in warmups, and he had to go back to left back.
Yeah.
That's that, coach. What did you make of his performance? 1. And 2, I know you're going to say this performance was excellent because it objectively was. It was fantastic. What does this mean, given the rumors we've heard in recent weeks about Miles and his buddy in crime, Ethan? What does this mean in the short term and long term? I mean, in your opinion, because these are all just opinions, people. We're not promising you nothing. These are all just opinions. But
well,
go ahead.
first and foremost, it wasn't just excellent. It was again, you guys can take it the wrong way for that, but it was manly. It was very, very, like, to use a Xhaka euphemism, is like, I've got the house keys. Like, the Emirates is my house, and when you talk about players taking up, like, seizing it with both hands, that was the definition of it of yesterday. Like, Arteta had him doing all sorts of, just I wouldn't say mental gymnastics, but maybe not on purpose, but maybe Arteta had him questioning if he's good enough or not. Obviously not intentionally, but you can imagine as an 18, 19-year-old, you're thinking, bro, like I played 40 games last year and I can't even get on the pitch this season. So automatically you're thinking, this is mind games here. Like I don't know what's happening. But he stayed strong and he's come through it. So it seems. So there's one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is we need to really we need to listen to what Arteta says and actually really understand what he's saying, even if he hasn't said it explicitly. When he said, I waited for the right moment, and this was like, I feel like it was the right time. I want to ask you, Dean, what do you think he meant by that?
I think it means that he's protecting a young player.
Okay.
Like he's just not going to put him in a situation where he doesn't think he can succeed. Like
Hmm.
there's a non-zero chance, and this isn't to besmirch Miles in any way. If Fulham has Iwobi and Sander Berger available yesterday, there's a non-zero chance that Zubimendi starts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then maybe Miles comes off the bench.
Yeah.
But this felt like the right moment. You look at the other team's lineup, you're like,
Yeah.
there won't be a better opportunity, at least for the rest of this season, to play this player in this position. And like you said, grasp the opportunity with both hands. He looked amazing. But what did you think it meant?
So the second thing was, in layman's terms, he had Saka back basically. Like that, like I'll explain it from a tactical point of view. Miles Lewis-Skelly isn't the greatest at ball recoveries or covering big spaces, right? Like so, and this isn't a criticism. This is just aspects of his game that he's not quite there yet. But there's no reason why he can't improve his position in the game. But let's just say yesterday we started with Madueke instead, right? But it seems still same team. When Miles did this a lot, when Miles got the ball on the right hand side, or just in general, and it was feeding it out to the right hand side to Madueke, is it more likely that the ball gets lost and it comes straight back to Miles, and Miles might be out of position to have to recover and have to make some decisions, maybe pick up a card or not? Or is it more likely when he gets to Saka, the ball's going to stick and you can actually start, being more confident and moving in positions where you can receive the ball again and helping, build the attack kind of thing? What's more likely to happen? Now, I mentioned Saka as a reference because it wasn't only just Saka. You got Rice there, who's found a second wind. Calafiori's back. Trossard is back. Eza has been playing. Like all the conditions are perfect for a young player to succeed because all the senior players around him are in fantastic form. And we didn't know that Trossard and Saka were going to play that, but obviously Arteta must have known. But Eza's there as well. So you've got all these players around him who are reference points for him to play. You're in midfield, so you've got Rice next to you. Okay, that's a safe pass. I can give it to him. You've got Eza there. I can give the ball to Eza, no problem. Again, another physical, specimen, but also technically perfect as well. I can give it to Saka on the right-hand side. I can give it to Trossard on the right-hand side. Kind of thing. He's got all of these, and this is why I mentioned the word nucleus before. Being in the nucleus, when your protons or electrons around you, sorry to get sneaky on you, are also the eye roll from Deen has almost. He makes me want the ground to swallow me up right now.
It's a Sunday morning over here, man. Don't take me to science class, bro. I want to hear this shit.
But the overall point is that he's in such good hands on the pitch. Not to disrespect the other players, but he's given them the perfect platform for him to all these best qualities to come out from. Not forget opposition, just from his teammates. I'm not being funny. I couldn't play that same game where there's Madueke, Martinelli, maybe even Havertz. Like those are the players that are in and around him. The left back is potentially maybe Hincapié will be fine actually. But again, the weaker points of the team yesterday was really just Ben White, and that's not even from a technical or tactical point of view. Just from a athleticism point of view. But he had the perfect conditions for him to really thrive in. So that's what Arteta meant, I personally think, for him to say that I think the player was ready. Not only that was he ready physically and mentally, but the team itself that I wanted to play him with was also there as well. That's what I felt like it meant.
And I don't think we disagree at all. I think I could sum up everything you said as he was protecting the player.
Yeah.
He put him in an opportunity to succeed as opposed to just put him out there because we need him.
Yeah.
Or people are asking for him, or he put him there when he knew. Arteta probably wasn't surprised by the performance.
No, of course not.
Say that much because he sees the boy in training. He knows what he's capable of, but He wasn't going to put him in a bad position.
No.
So I'm glad we're all happy about it. Long term, do you think this means the future we envisioned him as a 6'8" at Arsenal versus this whole fake left back
Man,
thing
I
he's
hope
doing?
so. I hope so, because there's another thing I want to talk about: the composition of the midfield as well. There's always check boxes I look for in my midfield, right? There's a few of them, but whether, God damn it, boy, whether it's a profile of moving the ball like at long distances, so that could be via carrying or via passing. Do we have that on midfield? Do we have what do you call it? Someone that can receive high as well. So we have that in Ezra as well. And do we have someone that can recover it as well over great distances? So when I look at that, Miles covers the checkbox of carrying it at great distances, but also receiving it low to give it at a great distance as well. Now he needs to obviously improve his long passing, that's for sure. But if he's checking two of the three boxes, then automatically, yeah, he should be in there. He should be in there for
It's
me.
an option.
I wouldn't want to spend another 60 million on somebody else to replace Miles, basically, when we have someone that we can continue to develop and he can be an absolute superstar.
Yeah, I'm hoping for like another growth spurt. I like him to like grow like another 2 to 3 inches taller.
Mm,
Then he'd be perfect.
mm,
He'd be perfect. Maybe lean out a bit, get more range in his running.
mm.
Like tackling technique has improved since he joined the first team.
Yeah,
I think that's that left back helped with that. But yeah, I'm very excited for his future.
mm,
Always have been, always will be.
yeah,
That is an Arsenal boy through and through.
yeah,
I don't see him going anywhere. Some of the other people, we'll talk about that some other time.
yeah.
In the 72nd minute, Fulham got their first shot on target. I was so disappointed. So disappointed. Don't even remember the fucking shot, but it happened and it kills me. 78th minute, Eze came out from Max. I thought that probably could have happened 10 minutes sooner because I
I
was
was
like, man,
praying for
this
that.
man off, please.
Yeah,
But yeah, briefly on Eze, it wasn't a loud game for him because I feel like most of his best games to our memory are games where he scored a bunch of goals, the Spurs games, for instance. But this, to me, like everybody else, I thought he was quite excellent, and this was a very understated, excellent. Like I think of Eze as sort of like he's like an accelerant. Like Martin Odegaard is like engine oil. He lubricates everything. Eze is like he's like a match striking. He's gonna give it away a couple times, but when the shit happens, it happens. And I think the second goal was evidence of that. He probably could have got one or two himself. He had some good shots.
yeah.
I think Assy might have blocked both of them because he's a hater. But what'd you make of Eze yesterday? I think this was more what I was looking for versus because I feel like end product is what we're this kind of performance is what I've really been looking for from him.
Yeah, I think it's good when you have more than one good player in your attacking line, because if somebody has a quote unquote, he didn't have an off day, but let's say somebody has an off day, well, thankfully somebody else can pick up the slack, aka Saka did. But I have no doubt in my mind, genuinely, let's say Saka was off it yesterday, Ezra would have picked it up for sure. But he didn't need to. Again, this is the point of the season where people, believe it or not, guys, despite how intense it was, people were still managing yesterday. Our players were still definitely managing. Like they have to.
He was strolling.
Like they have to. So let's say it was 2-1 and the 60th minute. Ezra's probably icing the game. He's probably going to take it upon himself to ice the game. That's the way I see it. But we're 3-0 up and he's thinking of Atleti. He probably feels like he owes us a goal, which he probably will get on Tuesday. But yeah, inshallah. But he needs to obviously manage himself. So yeah, I can stroll around. I can literally stroll around and make sure that I keep things ticking. So that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I just loved how subtle it was. Like I kept watching him, and every time he touched the ball, something happened. He's one that got Lukic booked. Like a little body swerves, there's a little layoffs here and there. Like just popping up all over. I just really enjoyed it because it felt more like him getting closer to the Odegaard version of our most creative midfielder. And I think
let me actually look at the stats. Actually, I'm actually curious to see like what he did.
I'm actually thinking that both of them can benefit from becoming more like the other guy.
Oh, I've said that, after the fact that I accepted that I wanted them to be as different as possible. But now I'm actually, maybe it was after the Everton away game. I was like, maybe I want them to lean into each other's strengths. Because, yeah, Odegaard scoring more goals, great. Ezra being more of an all-round midfielder, absolutely. Like, why not? Um,
I'll have 2 of those.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, Ezra had how many? This is I like looking at his touch map. He had 33 touches. On the low side of
That's a little low.
that.
It felt like more to me, though. Maybe
Yeah,
it's because it's what I wanted to see, perhaps, but
mhm.
it felt like more. It felt like he was more influential throughout the game, you know.
But it was definitely
But
deeper than usual. That's for sure. Yeah.
love that. Love that. Max did come on for Eze.
Mhm.
I want to say, but yeah, nothing happened for a while. Then Calafiori had a header on goal from a lovely Nani corner.
Mhm.
That's one thing I think Nani should get his props for.
Mhm.
His delivery from set pieces have been quite good since, basically post Liverpool away.
Yeah.
Once he got on top of that, he's been good at it all season.
Yeah.
Calafiori probably should have had a goal yesterday. He was that good.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, the universe was messing with him and messing with our goal difference.
Yeah.
Mosquera came on for White in the 83rd. In the 85th, Max took his turn to make fun of Lukic by turning him in the middle, in the center circle, then running all the way to the box only to take I don't even know if you can call that a shot. It wasn't very good, but
No.
he probably should have passed to one of the black people. Is Max a racist? That's my question to you, Coach. Is that broccoli-headed boy a racist? Come on. We know the manager is.
Man, look. I'll be honest with you. I always feel like there's a term that goes you keep what you kill, right? And as far as I'm concerned, he created that all himself. So yeah, he's entitled to for the shot. I'm sorry, like
that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous justification. But you know what? I think the level of his talent justifies it.
Yeah, of course. He's
just one of them guys. It's like if Messi takes a bad shot, you're like, it's
okay,
Messi.
it's fine.
You know? And that wasn't me comparing him to Messi.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say, people, is that he's better. Okay, already. I'm kidding. But someday. The last main action of the game was in the 2nd minute of added time. Fulham found themselves in a 4-on-2 break, but they did not get a shot on goal in that situation because Mosquera intercepted what was supposed to be the assist. It was really nice. I think it was that Ryan King kid.
Yeah,
that divey little shit tried to cross to somebody, and Mosquera gets in there, intercepts it. So even he had a moment. He was on the pitch for 7 minutes, and he had a moment of his own. So just an all-around excellent day. I'm just so glad that you weren't able to be there, Coach, because you attend every game, then the one you don't show up to ends up being a party.
Yeah, that's that. I'm okay with that. I actually said to myself, if I wasn't able to attend any more games between the end of the season, I wouldn't actually care, as long as we win the shit. Like, if I have to sacrifice not going to games for the rest of the season, that's great for me. I don't mind, as long as we win everything.
So, people, I haven't been on the pod as regularly as usual, and I decided to show up today for the specific purpose of getting Coach to commit to sacrificing the rest of his visits. So it's like, this motherfucker wasn't there, and look at what they did. Oh my God, you got to stay away. Stay away. Yeah. I kid. It was quite the day, a lovely day for Arsenal fans. Unfortunately, the ladies lost in the Champions League. Late goal knocked them out. Broke my heart. But you know what? Props to the ladies for a decent season, a decent campaign. Even as defending champions, making it back to the Final Four is impressive to me. Yeah.
So. If we're looking for any sort of mirroring here, Arsenal men lost in the semi-final last season to a French team. And then women went on to win it. They played Barcelona. Fair enough.
Yeah, they did.
They did. And then this year we're looking to obviously make it to the final and hopefully win it. That would be nice. I would like that. I personally would you guys like that as well? Would you?
I wouldn't mind a little cheeky Champions League. Just a little sprinkle of that Champions League. Give me that old big ears. Don't mind it at all. All right, folks. Thanks for hanging out with us as always. Next up is Atleti at the Emirates on Tuesday, then away at West Ham next Sunday. Yeah. By that point, I'm hoping City remain 6 points behind and we extend it to 9.
Yeah.
Who knows? One can hope. It's happened before. It can happen again.
Of course.
Can it? Of course it can. All right, Coach. You know what to tell the people.
Peace.